working.
Yes.
Enough?
Yes. Thank you. Well, I have a question about, I work for a nonprofit, and talk about contrast. I mean,
But now let's talk about that. I work for a nonprofit. Why?
Why? Why do I work there?
Are you saying that there are things you work for, rewards you work for, that are non-financial?
Yes.
So I work for a non-financially profitable, but it's so emotionally profitable.
Yes. Yes.
It's so beneficially profitable.
I work for an emotionally profitable agency.
And in the process of working for this emotionally profitable endeavor, do good things come from it?
Yes.
And is it all volunteer? Does anyone earn anything?
We earn, yes.
So a lot of money flows.
Yes.
So the term nonprofit, while we get it that it's maybe a governmental category.
Yes.
We think it's a misnomer.
I do
because
too.
there are so many dollars flowing through your
Yes.
hands being put to good use,
Yes.
which most families today would tell you that they are nonprofit. Many employers would tell you that they are nonprofit. In other words, it's just a label that is rather irresponsible, we think.
Well, I agree. I really like that. I really agree. And I run into bureaucracies, several of them, which are so out of the vortex I can't even see them.
Of course you do.
And so
They're sort of the
maintaining-
mainstay of nonprofit organizations. but the thing is,
Yes.
one who's connected to the stream is more powerful than millions who are not. And so, and
That's what I'm
and
wondering.
you're not feeling your discord because of what they're doing. You're feeling your discord because of what you're doing as you analyze what they're doing. In other words,
Yes. Yes.
as you look at them and you see them as cumbersome and red
Yes.
tape and not caring, what's happening is you're looking at the opposite of what you want. So you're pulling yourself apart and blaming them.
Yes.
They're just being who they are.
Yes.
And a lot of who they are is the reason that you're who you are. So appreciate the step oneness of them and just be the powerful creator that you are.
Okay.
There's not a better format for you to function within. Really. In other words, there is nothing wrong with the platform that you're standing on. And so we would rename it. We would call it an incredibly satisfying expenditure of the energies of my life.
It feels like that.
That's the way we would describe it.
It had felt like that to me up until recently, when I just felt so
Well, you see,
fearful.
one of the things, this will help you a great deal, and we think this is part of the discord that you're feeling. We can give this to you easily, and you'll hear it easily. You are discovering the power of the vortex. So there are all these other seeming sources of power. In other words, there's government funding, and there's philanthropic funding, and there's fundraisers. In other words, there are all kinds of sort of streams of benefit. But this vortex, this energy that creates worlds, this is really the one that you are wanting to tap into. So from inside the vortex, what you begin to discover is it does not really matter how ineffective government becomes, because when you tap into this energy that creates worlds, everything that you need will find a way to reach you. But there is one thing that we want to offer to you, and this is at the basis of the discord that is within you. While you are in a position where you can funnel, so to speak, resources into organizations or into places around the world that can receive the benefit of the financial offering, that's really not what your greatest offering to them is. And think about it, when you see yourself as a catalyst that uplifts situations, so you look into places that need uplifting and you access funds through government agencies or however, and you funnel them towards something, and then you see chaos or clogs in the channel. So everything that you have worked for, you can't produce because it's bogged down, and then you get involved in trying to break loose the log jam. What we want you to understand is that those aren't the resources that you've ever been funneling anyway. It's vibrational resources. You really don't want to be part of any organization that sees a bunch of people inadequate or incapable of tending to themselves, and you as a corraler of resources and funneling them to them. It goes against everything that the larger part of you knows. In other words, some of what you've been doing is like seeing a lot of people outside the vortex in their struggles, and then you gathering up resources and going outside the vortex and trying to help them with the resources. But all that happens under those conditions, and you can look at your welfare systems, you can look at every aid that's ever been offered around the world, is that if you don't teach them about the vortex, if you don't teach them self-empowerment, if you don't teach them alignment of their own thought, they're always going to be in this needy place, and there are not enough resources in the world to satisfy their need. They're looking for aid in all the wrong places, you see. And so we think that is the strongest thing. And so what's happened in your awareness of that is just drawn you outside your reservoir of well-being, you see. And once you tend to getting in the vortex consistently, you'll discover that it is through your alignment that the good ideas come. It is through your alignment that your good contacts come. You see, there is nothing more deflating than to try to get a government agency to get in gear and get efficient and get things flowing in the way you know that they need to be flowing. There is nothing in all of the world more frustrating than that, because there are too many moving parts who are not cooperating with one another, you see. You can't deal with it that way. The only way you can deal with it is vibrationally. Let the resources of the universe, let what's going on in this vortex be the power of it, you see. And when you get in there, you'll discover ways of going about that. And things that you can't even control with phone calls or emails or meetings or appropriations or things you can't even begin to control because of the confusion. You will control with the power of your focus from inside the vortex. Yes. Problem with that is you are usually quite dramatically removed from the credit. In other words, from inside the vortex, your vision will cause things to move around out there and log jams to break and things to begin flowing and improvement to be made. But there are few who will be able to associate you with the improvement.
It's true.
But you'll be in the vortex.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.